Okay, we'll call the regular council meeting Monday, October 17th to order. Start with the acknowledgements of treaties of peace and friendship. We would like to begin by acknowledging that the land on which we gather is traditional unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq peoples. This territory is covered by the treaties of peace and friendship, which will list away Mi'kmaq and Passamaquoddy peoples first signed with the British Crown in 1726. The treaties did not deal with surrender of lands and resources, but in fact recognized the Mi'kmaq and Wolastoqey title and established the rules for what was to be an ongoing relationship between nations. Thank you. Walalam. Next is the oath of office. Seem to have misplaced that. Yeah, I should have it here. Okay, we do hereby accept the office of count and will diligently, faithfully, and impartially discharge to the best of our ability the duties of the office as may be imposed upon us by law. Next is the moment of reflection, and we'd like to take a moment to reflect on those who passed away since our last regular meeting and have a moment of silence for them. They include Garfield Sporrell, Joseph Furlot, Timmy Pete, and Nomer Corey of Beldoon, Barbara Flanagan, formerly of Beldoon, Karen Furlot and Matilda Chamberlain of Lorne, Janita Hickey, formerly of Lorne. If we could have a moment's silence. Thank you. Next is to adopt the agenda. Do we have any changes to the agenda?
I'd like to add something.
Okay. Well, you can't add something, but you can change something. You can delete something if you wish.
You're not asking for additions or deletions as you normally do?
No, I don't ask for additions or deletions. I ask for changes.
Well, that would be a change in making an addition. There's been additions added before.
Do you have a deletion?
No, I have an addition.
We don't do additions.
When did you stop doing that?
Bylaw states we don't do additions. Things have to be included Thursday with sufficient data.
So if we go back in the minutes, then we're not going to find any additions to any agendas since you've been mayor, or? Because I'm pretty sure there has been.
Yeah. Well, on May 2nd, we made that change according to the bylaw, and that's where we are tonight.
On May 2nd, who made the change?
We weren't following the agenda properly.
You're not following it now. That was the change I wanted to make. I wanted to make the change that, as per the recommendation of our legal counsel, that we amend our procedural bylaw.
We were already.
That was actually told to us back in March, and it's yet to be done.
Right.
So I'd like to include that onto the agenda.
No, we can't do it at the last minute. That should have been included on Thursday, and it wasn't.
Well, I did include other things on
So-
Thursday, but you removed those from the agenda illegally, so I just thought maybe you'd allow this on.
So now we will get to
Okay.
the vote to either accept the agenda or we'll go home.
Can I add to this?
Sure.
This is probably the third time that additions and changes to the agenda has come up. I think it was back in March when it came to head the first time, we were to look at amending our bylaw officially. There's been no adoption of a new bylaw or changes to that bylaw. So I don't know why things get put off, but you can't keep doing this, right?
Correct.
So these things have to be resolved, and they should have been resolved in March, April, May, June, so that we don't keep doing this. So can we get a commitment that the bylaw will be looked at and will be amended so that we don't keep doing this?
Oh, it's funny because CEO Kingston and I had this conversation about a half an hour ago. We gave, when we did the motion on the procedural bylaw, the idea was to look at the bylaw and make changes and then come to the table with it. We haven't received it, so that's going to be on the table in November, latest, if not before. The procedural bylaw amendment is coming, and we're not we're not waiting anymore for that, because we can't, you're absolutely right, cannot go through this every meeting. The procedural bylaw needs to come to the table with one that everyone understands and that it's absolutely clear, especially in terms of motions and what can be added and deleted, et cetera. Absolutely, 100%.
But one that everyone understands and everyone agrees with.
Right, well, it's gotta be, you know, brought to a vote, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Okay, so, on the agenda for tonight, can we get a mover?
M 2022-10-17-158, that the agenda be adopted as presented.
Can we get a seconder?
I'll second it.
All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. The agenda is adopted. Next, to statements of conflict of interest. If you have a conflict of interest, please register it with the clerk. The adoption of minutes from September 6, 2022, 20th September 2022, and the 20th September minutes draft of the regular council meeting. So there were two on that date. Can we get an adoption of those minutes, and then they'll need to be signed by me?
M 2022-10-17-159, that the minutes of the Committee of Whole Council meeting of September 6th and September 20th, 2022, and the regular meeting of September 20, 2022 be adopted as presented.
Can I get a seconder?
I'll second it.
All those in favor, well, on the question, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. The motion is passed. Business arising for the minutes. We don't have any presentations, petitions, or delegations. We move on to statements by member of.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Business arising from the minutes? In the minutes, it stated that the librarian agreement or contract was renewed and that the position had been advertised, and that was incorrect. So I don't know how, I don't know what that process was or why we were told that it was advertised when it wasn't. But I think the public needs to know that it wasn't advertised, specifically because the librarian agreement, or the librarian also picks up the extra office hours. And there were a number of people who were interested in that position for that reason. So the fact that it wasn't advertised, to me, is problematic. And the fact that that we were told at the last council meeting that it was advertised when it wasn't is also problematic.
Okay. So we'll, CEO Kingston, do you want to speak to that?
Yes, your worship, it was my mistake, Counselor. I did say that it was advertised, it was not, but there is a clause within the contract that it can be renewed, and that's how we passed it.
Yeah, and I don't have a problem with that. It's my issue is that the public was told that it was advertised when it wasn't.
Okay, so we'll make, we'll duly note that in the minutes. We'll have to make that change, okay? All right, Counselor Carrier.
Okay, so the one thing that you did allow me to keep on the agenda was to include change tables in the municipal building here, since there are none, and because this is a facility that is used by families. It was brought to my attention, actually, from somebody that realized that there was none in here, and I think it's something that should be added, and I'm thinking they should be added in the both men's and women's washrooms that are down by the gymnasium. I feel that's the area that's used most by families and would get the most use, and I think that there should be signage placed in the bathrooms up here, instructing people that there are change tables located in the other washrooms.
Okay. Any council members wish to speak to that? Okay. So let's go forward with the motion then. Councilor Carey, you want to read the motion?
M 2022-10-17-160, that we install a changing table in both the men's and women's change rooms here at the municipal building with signage to display in the main building, letting people know where they are located, and set a budget of $1,000.
Need a seconder
I'll second it.
on the question? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. And before I move on to administrative reports, I always try to recognize the presence of the RCMP. Appreciate your presence tonight. Welcome. I think it's probably your first meeting. Welcome, welcome, yeah. Okay, CAO Kingston.
Yes, your worship. The social environment grant report was submitted to council, and I'm looking for a resolution to approve a $5 to $100 donation to the Dehaussy Regional High School International Student Exchange Program, and a resolution to approve the $1,200 to the Beldoon Power and Fitness Club towards their insurance policy. And the last one for $300 to Flow Guitar for the Dusty Sneakers Journals.
Okay, can we get a mover for that particular motion?
M 2022-10-17-161, that the Social and Environmental CAO Grant Report of October 2022 be accepted as presented and the following recommendation approved. $500 to the DRHS International Student Exchange Program, $1,200 to the Beldoon Power and Fitness Club towards their insurance policy, and up to $300 to Flow for Dusty Sneakers Journals.
Can I get a seconder?
I'll second it.
All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. 7.1.2, CAO Kingston.
Yes, your worship, as council may be aware, there's been supply problems for the truck chassis for the rescue van for Fire Station Number 1. And as of last month, I did get a call from Gordon Green that they had located an international cabin chassis. And there was additional costs attached to that, as you'll note, $15,875 plus HST. I'm looking for a resolution to approve that over expenditure.
Okay, can we get a mover for that particular motion?
M 2022-10-17-162, that the recommendation CAO Kingston Council approve the Metal Fab Limited, the change of the truck chassis from the Ford to an International as per the email from Gordon Green dated September 29, 2022, for the additional cost of $15,875 plus HST.
Can I get a seconder?
I'll second it.
On the question? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. Next, 7.1.3.
Yes, your worship, I received a visit from Bernadette Lapointe, who had said that she had submitted a residential grant application form in 2020. Subsequent search of both electronic and hard files revealed that there was never an application received to date. Since there is no date on the application, and that the grant subsidy has now terminated, I brought it to council to find out what council would like to do. My recommendation is that we not entertain this application at this late date.
So I'll open up to discussion. There isn't a motion on the table, but any councilors want to make their feelings felt?
I feel that if we didn't receive an application on time, that it should be, I agree that with the CAO that we should not pay it out.
Anyone disagree with that?
I do. She claims she sent it in, she's got the application, she's got the letter. Things get lost. The application would have been submitted on time. I doubt very much that she, went through archives to find an application for residential grant. I think she probably did submit it on time. And it was misplaced, lost, whatever. I would entertain providing the grant.
Well, what we could do is perhaps we could have, we'll maybe get in touch with her, see if we can take a second look and see if there may have been some paperwork missed. CO Kingston, I doubt that that's the case, but
Worship, the thing that, we did do an exhaustive search of both electronic and hard copy files and didn't find anything. And the date of her claim dates to 2020, and we're almost 2 years later, so.
do this then, let's just do a show of hands, let's go around. What's your opinion, Councillor Guitar-McDonald?
I guess my question is, how did she get an application if it's, you know what I'm saying? If we had dissolved this last year, was she able to get an application?
No, the application I think was sent in 2000, her claim was that it was sent in 2020, I think, right?
Right, but what I'm saying is, I see an application here, so how did she get it
Right.
if it has been dissolved? That's my question.
Yeah, that's a good question. So, what, do you have an opinion?
I think we should look into it. I'm being honest.
Further?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
I think Councilor Carmichael, you already said, put this to rest. Deputy Mayor Burke?
I guess at this stage, in all honesty, you know, we should probably have a discussion with our previous CAO, Landon Lee, and just confirm if he ever did receive or has any knowledge of that, and then we can take it from there. So I don't have a problem looking at it a little more in depth and taking it from there. But to be honest with you, at this stage, you know, I'd have to say no at this stage myself too, but I have no objection to having a better look at it, to have a better understanding maybe of what happened.
Okay, good. So is that a yes or a no? With all due respect?
I'd prefer to have a second look at it in the sense of having, if we could have our CAO maybe give our previous CAO, Landon Lee, a call and asking him if he ever recalled the application, or did it get mislaid? Was it ever received on his desk? That type of thing. I know we're asking a lot in the sense of looking at it over a period of 2 years, but by the same token, I certainly wouldn't want to leave any gray area. I mean, let's make sure we've got all our bases covered, and we can take it from there.
Councilor Carey, do you have an opinion?
Has anybody received, like Nicole, had she contacted anyone prior, like within these past 2 years? So there was never a phone call saying, did you receive my application, or when will you know, or anything like that? Like, that's the part that I find hard. Like, if I was to apply for something, I think I would have checked up onto it, you know, sooner than 2 years later. But if council feels that there's more information needed, well, then maybe it's something that needs to be looked into, because I do know that we've gone through, 3 CAOs now, and it's not the first application that that I've heard of, that it wasn't for this, but it was for a donation that was supposedly sent in and not received. But it does bring up a point that for the past year and a half, I have been saying over and over that we need a better filing system, an electronic filing system. And if we had that, we wouldn't have to be calling people that no longer work for us to say, hey, did you get this? Did you receive this? Whatever. Like, this shouldn't be an issue in this day and age. There should be proper files kept, and there is not. So I think that if council's requiring more information, then maybe it should be tabled until we get the information that council needs.
If you get a second, maybe a cursory call to Mr. Lannon. If you can't spot it, then. Right.
If I could just make a comment on that, Your Worship, if I may. I know we've abolished the policy, but you know, maybe in the future it'd be a good idea to look that if we have these type of applications, that a paragraph be put in there that any application being received by this office, if it is not confirmed in writing, is considered null and void, or something along that line. That way there, if the applicant does not receive a letter from us saying that they received it, well, at the end of the day, they should know that the application has not been received. So I guess I'm just referring to just maybe a second step to be able to to verify or confirm whether it's been received or it hasn't been. Food for thought.
I guess we can move on to 7.1.4.
Tenders, invited tenders were sent out for winter maintenance and service and snow removal for Ocean Avenue. And the recommendation is that it goes to WD Smear for the 3-year contract. From 22 to 25.
Okay, can I get a mover for that motion?
M 2022-10-17-163, that as per recommendation of interim CAO Chris Kingston, that the tendered PW-2022 to 2025 winter maintenance service for the portion of Ocean Avenue be awarded to the lowest bidder, WD Smear Corporation, Limited, for the amount of $8,165, including HST, for 2022 to 2023, $8,280, including HST, for 2023-2024, $8,395, including HST, for 2024 to 2025.
Okay, can I get a seconder for that motion?
I'll second it.
On the question? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. 7.1.5.
Again, your worship, this is for Jacket River. This is for Jacket River Fire Hall, 3-year snow removal tender. As per the lowest bidder, which would be the only bidder, which was Woodcock's Trucking, for the amount specified in the motion.
Okay, thank you. Can we get a mover for that?
M 2022-10-17-164, that as per recommendation of interim CAO Chris Kingston, the tender JRFH 3 years snow removal for Jacket River Fire Hall be awarded to the lowest bidder, Woodcock Trucking, for the amount of $5,520, including HST, for 2022-2023, $5,520, including HST, for 2023 to 2024, and $5,520, including HST, for 2024 to 2025.
Seconder, please.
I'll second it.
On the question? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. Thank you, CAO Kingston. Is anyone taking care of the financial report tonight, or are we gonna just post that? No, we just need a motion. Just need a motion to pass. Clerk Treasurer Cormier is not here, so those are public domain, public information. People can research that as they wish. So can we get,
So I was just wondering if somebody had questions regarding some of that, would now be the time to ask? After it's read?
okay, yeah. Okay. So do we have a mover?
M 2022-10-17-165, that the financial report be accepted as presented and the accounts payable be paid.
Seconder?
I will second it.
Oh.
Okay, I have a question in regards to, on September 12th, there was a payment made for the Kent and White Insurance balance of a golf tournament for $1,575. And I'm wondering, like, I don't ever remember anything coming across our desk here for a motion to be paying for a golf tournament. And there was also $230 for a Port Authority golf tournament, and another $175 also for the Kenton White golf tournament. So I'm just wondering why these large amounts of money are being spent without it coming to council.
Well, as far as the tournaments are concerned, that's something we do for networking. That would come under CEO Kingston's ability to pay for such things.
So basically then, whenever we want to spend anything under the amount of, what is it, 10,000? It doesn't have to come to council then? We can just go to CAO Kingston?
Correct. Like, let's say, for example, we wanted to buy a swing for the seniors. In the past, we would have to, if it was an over amount, let's say the former CAO had $2,500 to spend. And then by a motion of council, it was moved up to 10,000 for CAO Kingston. And that's the point, so it wouldn't have to come back to council for every single motion. So if you wanted to do things like that, you could do them, and it would fall under his prerogative.
So I guess I'm confused because when we just went to Fredericton for the UMNB conference, that was a training that we had budgeted for, and it was something, for all of council, and it was training, but that had to come to a vote. So I'm wondering why did that have to come to a vote, but a golf tournament doesn't?
I never, wasn't under my directive that it would have to, the UMNB conference, if that can be handled under CAO Kingston's prerogative, it should be.
So who went to the golf tournament?
We're not taking questions yet. You can take them after the meeting. That's when we take questions.
So who did go to the golf tournament?
Which one?
Well, both of them.
Well, the Port of Beldoon Golf Tournament, it was Deputy Mayor Burke and myself, Daryl Culligan, and Jordan Frenette.
Well,
We'll
it was 15,000 and some. 1,575 was the balance, and then there was another 175 for the, must be the registration, I'm guessing. Okay.
We take questions after the meeting. That's, for everyone in the audience, it's the same rule.
Oh, not
That's
for
how we do it.
Maureen. Not for Maureen. When she was here, she was asking questions during it, and there was nothing
Okay,
said.
we're gonna move,
Yeah.
okay, let's move on. So, we're gonna move on to whether we accept the report or not.
Oh, I have another question.
No, you're out of order. I'm not recognizing you.
I'm
You're out
Christie.
of order.
Anyway, Dairy Delight,
You're out of
there was an
order.
amount of $2,705.48, and I'm just wondering what that amount was for?
You're out of order,
How am I out of order?
because we're moving on to the vote. If you want to ask that question, we're moving on.
Isn't this the time to ask these
You've-
questions
and you've had an opportunity to
before we
ask,
vote?
and now
I
we're
am,
moving on.
this is my opportunity, that's why I'm asking.
So, all those in favor say aye. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. We're moving on. Next is the annual report. 7.2.2. You see the annual report within your papers here. Do we have a mover for the annual report?
M 2022-10-17-166, that in accordance with NB Regulation 2018-54, under the Local Governments Act, Council adopts the Village of Beldoon 2021 Annual Report as presented and post to the Beldoon website.
Can we get a seconder
I'll second it.
on the question?
I just want to put a comment. There was a lot of work put into this document, and I want to say thank you to our clerk treasurer, Brenda. She does it every year. I just don't understand that. Like, at the beginning of the year, we had to ask for her to do it and vote for it. Wouldn't it be just, since it's a required report, just do it and then, and not have to vote that in May? I think it's a normal process. It has to be
It
done
is.
every year.
I don't
But-
think-
But she did an amazing job once again, as she always does
Yep,
when it
the
comes to
annual
this stuff.
report, I know they're gonna be sad, they're gonna be very happy with it in Fredericton. And, you're right, and it is a mandated document, so I don't see, unless there's something I can ask, unless there's something from the province that they want that motion, I don't see where it would be necessary to have a motion. You just go ahead and do it.
Exactly, that's what I was coming at, but yeah, thank you.
Okay, so that's the annual report. Did we get a vote on that yet, or?
Just a comment, if I may, your worship. It is legislated by the province. If you look at the second line, it shows it right there according to the provincial regulation. So the document is there, 105, paragraph 1, 2, and 3. So it states it very clear that the regulation and the annual report containing the information prescribed by regulations, including but not limited to information presenting grants, economic development, activities and services of the local government. So it's plain, it's legislated.
It is, it's legislated, so. And it was one of those documents that we were late on, but, you know, all things considered, I think they'll be very happy with it. Okay, so that takes care of that. Did we get a second? We didn't do a second vote? Okay. I think Councillor Guitar McDonnell had seconded that, right? Okay, so we'll just do the vote for it to be official. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. So we'll send that annual report. If it hasn't already been sent to Fredericton, we'll send it. Next. Okay. We move to 8.1.
Yes, Your Worship, I'd sent out notification to council on this leave of absence policy. And I thought I had it settled, but after the fact, I had 2 or 3 other councillors give me some options. But by that time, I think I've already added to the agenda. But I thought that this was a concession. We started out at 90 days, and I thought 40 days probably. I think that was the consensus of a couple of councillors, and that we would change the policy and adopt the employee leave of absence for short-term sick leave. Anyway, as it stands, I'll look for a resolution from council.
So we would need a mover and a seconder for -167.
Can I just ask a quick question before we move it?
Well, let's get
Okay.
let's get this first and seconder, and then we'll do the question,
Okay,
okay?
thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
M 2022-10-17-167, that HRP-017, Employee Leave and Leave of Absence Policy, Section 6, Sick Leave Policy, subsection 6.2 specific procedure be amended to add under paragraph 3, after the word doctor or nurse practitioner, and replace the 2 days with 3 days, and add the following paragraph. A full employee will accumulate 1.25 days per month for every month of service to maximum of 40 days, accrued days. Medical and dental appointment are not considered as sick time. Should an employee cease to be an employee, the accrued portion of the sick leave benefit will not result in a payout.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a seconder?
I'll second it.
Now, on the question.
Yes, after reviewing this again and looking at it, there was other scenarios brought up that I felt that was better. And since we didn't get, there was a report that was asked for this week or last week I should say, and we didn't get that report, I would like to table this for the time being.
If you've tabled the motion, then we need to address that. Do we have a seconder for a tabled motion? seconded by Counselor Carrier. On the question. All those in favor of tabling the motion, say aye. All those opposed, say nay. Okay, so we'll table the motion. We'll go back to try and cobble together something, perhaps a little bit, maybe we'll try to get some more input from council members then as to, you know, it's a good start on the document, right? Considering where we were, and I want to congratulate City of Kingston on the work that he's put into it. He's done a lot in the last month in this regard. So we'll try to make a document that is more palatable to council. Okay? We'll come back with a different outcome perhaps next time. Okay, we go to motions and resolutions, 9.1. We have a recreation and wellness program, service provide contracts. We have some contracts there. Can we start with 168 and get a mover for that?
M 2022-10-17-168, that council approve the service agreement as presented between the Village of Beldoon and Sunny Bosco for yoga classes, and the mayor and clerk sign the agreement.
Okay, can we get a seconder
I'll second it.
on the question? All those in favor say aye.
I have a question.
Okay, Counselor
I'm
Carmichael.
sorry about that.
No, go ahead.
I had asked for a report for attendees, a report on that to see what programs were fully used and which were not so used, so that we could maybe change it up a little bit. So again, the report, it is running at the moment, and I was wondering if we could put it on hold for now until I receive that report to see how many people are using all these programs, to see maybe we can change it up. We've had the same programs now for several years, and some there's a lot of attendance, and there's some that there's very few attendance. So with the ones with the very few, we might be able to shake it up and bring something else to the table. That's just my idea.
So this is a program that's taking place right now and you want to put it on hold?
I would like to put the programs on hold, all three of them, until I have the report from our health and coordinator, wellness coordinator, to see how many people are going to these. I'm sure he can go back to last year's to show the report. So that way there that we can decide, like, I'm not saying remove all these programs. Some of them are amazing, but some of them is very low usage, and I feel we're not getting the bang for her buck.
So do you know which ones? So you're saying you're not sure which
I don't
ones?
know, I didn't get a report.
Okay. So you want to put these programs on hold until we get a report?
The programs, I want them to continue, but I want to put these motions on hold until I have that report, and then we can maybe decide if we're going to keep with this specific program or start or change them up. Maybe one or two is perfect. They might have 10, 12 attendance, and maybe some only has one or two. So the one or two, should we keep it? Should we pay that amount of money for one or two, you know, or maybe those people might want something else in its place? But let's continue it till I get the report and put it on hold till next month.
Wouldn't it be a little tough to ask the people who are running the courses to continue without some definitive idea as to whether or not we're going to continue or not? I'm just throwing that out there. If I'm running the program and I'm not sure it's going to continue, why would I come back?
Well, I feel that they've had the program now for 4 or 5 years, so they would know how many people are attending. I don't know. It's the taxpayers' money that's going out for these. You know, let's get the bang for our buck, basically.
Anyone else?
I think that, what are the, $450 a week for something that, you know, maybe only 2 or 3 people are using, I think is a lot of money. And I agree that before we sign any contracts with anybody else, that we should be looking at the attendance and find out if it is being used. And it wouldn't be the first time that we have somebody working for the village without a contract in place. That would be, you know, that wouldn't be a first, so I don't see that being an issue.
Okay, so we have 3 that pretty much are combined. You just make a motion to table these, I guess.
And we can put it back on next month after the report is in our hand and that we see what usage is being done. And then And then if we see that one is only one or two people going, then we can maybe remove that one from the table and then make a plan for January for a new program.
Okay, so put a motion on.
I'd like to table 168, 169, and 170.
Okay, we get a seconder?
I'll second it.
Okay, on the question? All those in favor say aye. Okay, so just, CEO Kingston, can you take note of that? And relay the information to Daryl, and we'll get a report generated. Okay, general correspondence. Cool.
General correspondence, the inaction, you all received a copy of the nursing home in Dahazi asking for a representative. So I'm not sure if you want to advertise for that, or
Can it be a council member?
I really don't know.
Because if it is, I wouldn't mind being on that committee.
Represent Canada just doesn't say. I don't think it matters, as long as it's someone from the community.
I do think it would matter, in all honesty, to be, if I may, your worship. I don't think, it's not a paid position, but it's you know, they could be coming to council for funding or assistance to funding. So I don't know if that'd put, you know, a council member in a conflict of interest, but just food for thought. I don't have a problem with it. I mean, it's hard enough to find people who are interested to begin with, and Councillor Carmichael is interested. I don't have a problem with that, but I'm just throwing that out there.
Okay,
I'm fine with her taking that position. To me, it's no different than you on the Legion or the Crime Stoppers. If it's a conflict of interest, she steps out and.
Do you want me to call and just see if it's okay, or?
To me, if a council member is acceptable and Councillor Carmichael wishes to be on the committee, I don't have a problem with it.
Okay.
Yeah, just check it out, and if, I don't mind, do we need to put a vote across for that for November?
Once I find out, okay. And the other items was in information. I give you all a copy. Okay, just a sec here. The SPCA report. And there was a letter from the SPCA in regards to their staffing and their hours and stuff. The Atlantic Railway Maintenance Report, the library report, the commission, Regional Chaleur Commission report for the month of September. There was a memo from the Office of the Fire Marshal in regards to wanting feedback for fire service regulations. Press release from the Vitality V partnership gives patients awaiting cataract surgery in Chaleur Region faster service. And there was another press release from Vitality V in regards to trying to get international recruiting efforts, I guess, for doctors and nurses. So that was just for your information. And that's it for the correspondence for this month.
okay, thank you. Okay, that takes us down to closed session and adjournment. If I can get a motion to adjourn.
M 2022-10-17-171, that the meeting is adjourned at 7:44.
Can I get a seconder?
I'll second it.
All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Meeting adjourned. So we'll just wait for a few minutes till we get offline and we'll open up the gallery.